porn bloopers?
I don't know, but I've heard of professors showing movies on Pornhub before because you can watch. There's like some full movies that are on Pornhub for free.
Pornhub, giving America what America needs.
Apparently, even with regards to more than just pornography.
I mean, what other stuff do they even have on there? They have movies,
Illegally.
I can't say it's my go-to channel.
Illegally. They're definitely not on there legally. But...
welcome, everyone. Welcome to Ben's guide of how to illegally watch movies on Pornhub. Welcome back to Hard Reset, a Cold North production. I'm your host, Patrick the Law Morris, and joining me this week, as usual, gorgeous Ben Reynolds.
Meow.
Every time that meow gets more and more sexual, and every cold open we do, it's more and more relevant. And the effervescent Anderetchen.
I'm back, baby. Hello.
Don't forget to check out everything we do all in one spot over at coldnorthpro.com.
Where the pros get north.
Including our movies podcast, No Refunds. The podcast that watches bad movies so you don't have to. This week we watched, what did we watch? Fast and Furious 6. And
yes.
The sixth time they got Fast and Furious.
Well, actually, the fifth time, because the third time was actually the sixth time.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Oh, my.
So I'm glad I'm impressed with myself that I did that right away off the top of my head. But don't forget to check everything out. And we have a lot to discuss tonight, including Nintendo Switch Boost Mode, some more Dreams news, another GTA 6 leak substantiating some things you may have heard on this podcast before, a Saints Row movie in development, and for the topic of the show, we're going to be discussing the first trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Incredibly relevant that we were talking about Fast and Furious.
There you go. We talked about Fast and Furious on No Refunds this week, and we're talking about a Fast and Furious producer is making a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Now, okay, real quick before we get into what we've been playing this week, what do you guys think is faster? Sonic the Hedgehog or the tank in Fast and the Furious 6?
Is Dominic driving it or just fucking that guy who was driving it who was one of, what's his name's henchmen?
Shaw's
henchmen.
Dominic Toretto driving a tank versus Sonic the Hedgehog.
Dominic Toretto driving the tank.
I think I'd have to probably agree with that.
I'm saying no chance in hell. I think Sonic the Hedgehog is faster than the Flash, but we can get to that later. Right now, I want to hear what you guys have been playing this week. Ben, tell me what you've been playing this week.
I have been playing Days Gone. And I have been enjoying my time playing it. It is a solid adventure. I know there's a lot of people who are complaining about a lot of things in it. I don't really have anything to complain about. I've just been having fun. I think that I honestly think that it's just sort of in vogue to just complain about video games unless they're Rockstar games, and then it's in vogue to fucking jerk off to them, kind of. Which, I mean, I jerk off to Rockstar games too,
but you do it earnestly.
Yeah, that's the thing is I feel like people just get this whole in vogue thing of just oh yeah, I want to shit all over this game, so then they start shitting all over it, and I don't know. It's a pretty fun game.
Well, so I agree with you. I think that it is in vogue, and I think that a huge part of that is the expectations game, and I actually made a video about this, but setting expectations is I think can really make or break a game, and
absolutely
setting unrealistic expectations is something that like Peter Molyneux, right? He says, "Oh, you can plant an acorn and watch it grow into a tree," and it's like, no, you fucking can't. And I think that in my video, I actually talked quite a bit about Far Cry 5 in that, like, they really didn't set expectations through the roof. They set some pretty realistic expectations of like, yeah, it's going to be a shooty adventure. You're going to have fun. It's going to be Montana. It's going to be a good time. And then I played that game, and that's exactly what it was. I wasn't disappointed because they had oversold it. And I think that by no fault of their own, Ben Studio was just there. They just were faced with a game that was oversold just because it had the clout of being like in that first party lineup of PS4 exclusives. So we all expected a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. It's like, it's funny because it seems like I constantly see people comparing it to Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's like it's like a way different game, and like, yeah, that was an incredible game. It was like game of the year for like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, but not every game's gonna be fucking game of the year.
In fact, there's only one.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I've been having fun. Like, I think the motorcycle's a cool thing. Like,
Yeah, I've heard driving the motorcycle around is really fun.
yeah, there have been well, and it's just also like the zombies, like, especially when you have like a fucking monster horde, it's fucking terrifying. Like, you're just like, oh fuck, I don't know how I'm gonna fight these guys. Like,
You have to just like run away.
And that's like, because I was like I got like my first like really really big horde the other day on accident, because it was just like I just kind of came up on them, and then I like accidentally fucking got them like raging. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just try and run away. And they were just fucking on me, and they just kept coming. And I ran out of stamina, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. And then it just,
the horde just like envelop you and swallow you up.
Well, no, they fucking, I was like, well, fuck, I have these like throwables. Maybe I can just throw a fucking grenade down and fucking take a bunch of them out while I'm still running, and so that then it'll be a more manageable number, so I can just melee fight them or something. Because like, I had a machine gun, but it's against that horde, it was not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's just firing at a cloud, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's just wasted bullets. So I was like, well,
old man yells at cloud.
That's exactly what I was just picturing. Ben is just the old man yelling at the cloud.
So I've got like a pipe bomb, so I drop the pipe bomb, keep running, and it blows up a couple, and I'm like, all right, I get some experience. I'm like, I turn around a little bit for a hot second to just see how many there still are. There's still probably at least like 9 or 10. And I was like, fuck, that's too many to melee fight. So I'm just like kind of running slowly so that I can gain some stamina and like hopefully not get clubbed, and then I fucking get enough stamina that I feel like I can run again. So I run again, I turn around, I get ready to throw another grenade, I throw it, I don't run far enough, and it blows me up and kills me.
So you met your own demise.
Yeah.
You were your own.
I've heard the two like big parts of that game. I've heard the melee stuff is really satisfyingly like crunchy. Like, I think of the IGN review I watched of it was saying like a lot of the time, you know, I really liked finding a new weapon or like getting a new like melee weapon all ready to go.
Well, I think as you get more skills, you like unlock like different combinations and stuff like that. Because like there are times where like I've been like using like a certain axe, and like I'll fucking like hack one zombie up, and then I can just like quick turn and fucking hack one's head off that without having hacked it at all. And it's just like, oh, that's handy, because that's way better than having to hit that zombie 4 times.
I gotta say, I love that every time Ben is telling us these stories about getting away from the zombies, and he says that he turned around, we can hear in his microphone that he's turning around in real life. But Ben, you've kind of sold me on this game, because I think that the clout with being a first party PS4 game kind of overhyped this game for me, and seeing it, I was thinking like, oh well, this isn't like living up to, this isn't God of War, or this isn't Horizon Zero Dawn. And you're right, Ben, there can only be one game of the year, and like not every game is going to be. And that's actually something that I praised Far Cry 5 a lot for, was like, yeah, it was just a good game, and like
it's
that's
not perfect,
totally
but it's
okay.
very fun. Yeah,
And
there's nothing better than hitting a cultist with a shovel.
exactly. And so
Well, I kind of like that. I guess I would say that like it's interesting. I overheard you and Andrew talking about this before we got on the podcast about how like some people comparing the game to Far Cry, and I would say that it is that's an apt comparison. But the thing that I think I like better about it is that while there's still like humans to fucking fight and humans to worry about too, there's also fucking zombies all over the place.
That's right. And like,
and,
really
too much
cool
noise.
a really cool
Yeah.
and different take on zombies.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and then like when you have to fight,
or
when
whatever.
you have to
Freakers.
fight a fucking a freaker bear, that shit is fucking intense.
Oh yeah, Gerard the Completionist, one of my favorite YouTubers, he completed this game, and his video came out on this game last weekend. And in his entire time completing the game, he killed 3 freaker bears. And it's like, those must be fucking insane boss fights.
They're definitely tough.
And so
You spend a lot of time running away from it and just trying to hide from it.
yeah. So
man.
Ben, I like, you've kind of, you're swaying me on this game. Like, I'm kind of getting into the idea of this game. I probably won't buy it now, but I'll probably buy it when it's $40.
Yeah, or if they give it away for free ever, that would certainly be a prime time to play it.
I think
Like,
that
that's
it's
really-
still at least a year away from that.
Yeah, very much.
They haven't given away Horizon Zero Dawn, and that came out 3 years ago.
2 years ago. And
No, it was Game of the Year 2 years ago. I think it came out like 3 years ago.
no, it came out the same year, or in the same week as Breath of the Wild, and the Switch just turned 2.
Oh, okay.
But you're right. It came out 2 years ago, and like that game has even been sold for as cheap as $8, and they still won't give it away because they can still sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's one of those games that's like, when you buy a PS4, it is a must pick up.
Well, have they given away any of their first party games?
They give away Drive Club for a while.
Okay, but that was one that's like their least popular first party game.
They gave away Knack.
Again,
Okay,
baby.
okay, yeah.
have they
No,
given away any of the popular
any of the
first-party
major
games?
ones, like,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and so I don't think it's going to be free.
Yeah, I think that the closest they've gotten to giving something like that away was
Golden
Infamous.
Abyss being free.
Oh yeah, but Golden Abyss being free, I think that was just to get people to buy the Vita. I think that was much more strategic. And it's funny you mentioned that, Ben, because I think that that's something that a lot of people forget about Days Gone.
Oh, didn't they actually put one of the Uncharted games free?
Uncharted 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that, because that's something a lot of people forget about Days Gone, is like the last game that Bend Studio made was Golden Abyss, and that game was great.
Damn, I didn't even realize it was the same developer.
Like, a lot of people didn't play that game, but that game was fantastic.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
Yeah. So
I am probably going to play after we get off, unless I go fucking play 2K. I was playing 2K right before this, and oh man, I just about lost my mind. 41 fucking points, 9 assists, or 9 boards, 8 assists, and 4 fucking blocks, and my teammates can't fucking play any defense on anybody, so we just fucking lose.
Oh man.
Andrew, if you ever get the opportunity to watch Ben lose at 2K, it's a real experience. So, Andrew, what have you been playing this week?
I downloaded Mark of the Ninja on my Switch at one point. I played that game within like a couple of nights, just kind of fucking around. Mostly otherwise, I've just been like continuing to just mess around in No Man's Sky. I made a little more progress in Kingdom Hearts 3. I've just been sort of like playing little bits and pieces of certain games as I've been kind of just getting the time.
Nothing really
But I
sinking
really,
its teeth into you.
yeah, right now I haven't found anything that really, besides Sekiro, like that game I played all one weekend and like beat the whole thing practically in like one weekend because I just couldn't put it down. And I miss that.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys need to drop 30 a piece and get fucking Days Gone.
I prefer to drop
yet.
20 a piece.
Yeah, like.
But you're looking for something to sink your teeth into.
Well, we did. Okay, I just bought us Far Cry New Dawn, and I think that that's what I'm going to be playing.
Oh,
How
you
much was
did?
that? Why?
So I bought it because it was on sale for $20, and I had PSN credit.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, New Dawn is the one that comes after 5, right? That's supposed to be like after the apocalypse kind of happens.
Yeah, I bought it a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago.
I'm probably gonna download that too if that's cool, because
Yeah.
I was really, really curious.
No, you're not allowed.
You only one copy of my downloadable game.
No. Yeah, I'm actually really curious about that too, because I would actually like kind of the what the hell happened afterward kind of
Yeah,
follow up on how 5 ended.
You guys
Yeah.
are making me feel like after I finish Days Gone, I need to finish 5.
Far Cry 5 was really good. I really liked it.
I thought it was just another Far Cry game.
I would say it wasn't as good as it wasn't the best Far Cry, but it was really good for what it was.
Yeah, I feel like honestly the thing that made that game for me was just the enemies, like the fact that they're all crazy religious cultists. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I have no problem killing you guys. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun change of pace.
Doubles only.
For some reason, that just got tired for me. But now it's like pretty much like a year later. So I think I could probably go back to it.
Yeah, you should try it out again. I think that Far Cry 5 appealed to that same sense that Homefront did for me, in the sense that they shook it up. They turned the tables on us and really they brought it home and brought those enemies home. And that's living in the United States. That's something we typically don't get in video games a lot. Like, there are so many video games that are you're in the Middle East and you're shooting guys with turbans. And we don't really get you're in the United States and you're shooting guys that look like the guys that you're going to run into in the general store when you're out in Montana. And
yeah.
and
Is Homefront good? I've always been really curious about that game.
Homefront, no, it was not good. And Homefront 2 was even worse. What did you say,
That's
Ben?
actually a lie. Homefront was pretty fucking fun.
I didn't like
the
Homefront.
original one on Xbox.
On Xbox 360.
I think that there was one that was on Xbox. It was, or maybe it was even on PC, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I played one that I don't know. We're in the weeds now.
We are, but that's okay. It's okay to get out in the weeds. I myself this week have been playing. I've been doing some capture for. I have a Star Wars video coming out on Friday because Friday is May 4th. And so I went back to some of the older Star Wars games. I played quite a bit of Star Wars Bounty Hunter this week.
Oh, I love that game.
That game is so good.
Very underrated. Much better when it's been redone.
I'm not even sure it's underrated. People really, really like that game. I just don't get why they only made one of them.
Yeah, I think, back in the day when it was on PS2.
Or got a tattoo of the logo before it was actually...
Mandalorian, skull.
Yeah, before it was on the, basically the logo of a game.
Oh,
and
really?
It was, literally, it was, a year before... And then the game came out, and he was just like, fuck, are you kidding me?
And now, then people are like, so you must really like that Star Wars Bounty Hunter game.
He's like, no, I actually never played it. I thought it was a badass thing from Star Wars, because he's a big Star Wars fan. But and so, but it's, people, recognize it from the game more than they recognize it just from being, part of Boba.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But so yeah,
badass.
What was that?
Tattoo's pretty badass.
Yeah. So I played Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I played Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one. And I played Star Wars Racer Revenge. And the one that really stood out to me, because I knew that Bounty Hunter was fantastic, and Battlefront 2, I'm sure is more fun with friends. But the one that really stood out to me was Racer Revenge, and it's like that was a sequel to the N64 game on PlayStation 2, and I think it was an exclusive to the PlayStation 2, which was weird to go from Nintendo to PlayStation. But like that game was actually pretty good, and it had this really.
Did you ever get to say yippee?
No, because you play as Episode 2 Anakin, and the voice actor is terrible.
Wait, so Episode 2 Anakin goes back and starts pod racing again?
Yeah, it's got this really weird story, and it even has a Star Wars crawl at the beginning of the game that like establishes the story of like Sebulba is out for revenge via pod racing.
He's like, I'm gonna get you by putting you in last place.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a goofy ass game, but like gameplay wise, it's really fun, and it's like really well done, and honestly, like pretty fun game. Definitely worth playing. I think it would be a lot more fun with friends too. So
I can see that.
Now it's time for our news segment. We're changing up the format a little bit. I think just making it all news wasn't great, but it's time for our news segment. Don't know what we're going to call it. All right, the news segment today. So Nintendo has released Switch Update 8.0 last week, and according to GearNuke.com, there are a couple of pretty interesting features in the 8.0 update. The two most interesting are system transfer tool, so you can transfer everything on your system onto another system, which we'll get into why that's interesting in just a minute. But also a boost mode that overclocks the processor from 1 gigahertz to 1.75 gigahertz. Now, I think that these two things combined, plus all the rumors about like a Switch Mini or a Switch Pro coming up, I think it's just like, I think it's undeniable. We're getting another Switch. We're getting another iteration of the Switch this year.
Well, we've heard even that I've heard a rumor that it's 2 new Switches.
Yeah,
They're just gonna call it the Swatch.
That there could be a Switch Mini and a Switch Pro.
Yes, exactly.
And
Switch Mini.
I've heard things more recently that are kind of saying that the Switch Mini is more likely and the Switch Pro is not really going to happen, but people are expecting like an almost like a marginal upgrade to the current Switch without changing the form factor. Just something a lot like what Sony does with the PS4 Pro, how they update the PSU and suddenly like it runs on a figure 8 power cable because it's so much more power efficient now. And so people are expecting something more along the lines of that for the regular Switch. I've heard speculation that it could just be like, oh, now it's 64 gigabytes or like 128 gigabytes. But I'm with the boost mode, could it be a totally new system on a chip that's just much more power efficient and slightly like clocked slightly faster?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Which would speculate?
Which would you guys prefer, a Switch Mini or a Switch Pro?
Switch Pro.
Both.
Oh.
Both. And why are you so determined to have both?
Because I'm both.
Okay.
No, I feel like because it would that way more people would have Switches,
Giving people options. You just want
Yeah.
So I guess that's actually a really good point, is like you're probably not going to buy one of these.
No.
And so you want them to do both so that more people buy them, so that more people make games for this thing.
Exactly.
All right, that's fair. Andrew, would you consider buying another Switch?
I might get a Pro, but
I guess if it was a Pro, I might try and trade mine in for a Pro.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, that's probably a good point. Exactly. Like the only reason I got a PlayStation 4 Pro was because it was such a like must buy moment for the special edition one. But otherwise, I probably
Yeah.
would have still just had the regular one.
You got insanely lucky with that console.
because
I
we
do
have
like it.
an insane friend.
Yeah, because he already had one and he bought it just randomly showed up and he bought it and he was like, yeah, I figure I'll just have it. And I was like, well, dude, my friend wants to buy it, so
I did have to drive all the way out to Greeley, but that's okay.
yeah. But it's funny that you guys are both more interested in the Pro because I think that what I want from the Switch is for it to be more portable than it is. And so if it were like a Switch Mini that used slider sticks like the 3DS instead of joysticks, or if it like flipped like a clamshell design, like a Switch Flip, that's something that I would buy. I like make it smaller, make it more portable, and take the joysticks out. Give me slider sticks.
That would be a good way to get people to buy more Switches, but
I think that would
'Cause-
also make it more approachable to buy, like,
still
you have
dockable.
well, I'm sure that they would have to, if it was smaller, they would have to make a smaller dock.
Mm.
Well, that would. Well, I guess it would probably come with the dock, but then you'd run out of HDMI ports, bro.
Yeah, but I think it would be cool if they made a smaller dock that fit both the regular Switch and the Switch Mini. And then, I mean, they could attach a lot of Pro controllers to these Switch Mini sales, and it would be easier to convince parents to buy. You got 2 kids, buy them each a Switch. At a lower price point, that would be an easier sell.
And then you can have people playing with a Switch as a controller for a Switch.
Yeah, and then that's
Ooh.
also a really great, easy way to sort of delegate playtime for kids, because you could be like, all right, you get a little bit of time on the television now, and then your brother or something gets to play on the television. Otherwise, you get to sit on the couch.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point of maybe they could use a Switch to use as a controller for the Switch, because on the Switch Mini, I don't think that they would have Joy-Cons to attach. And so maybe they could even emulate like the best features of the Wii U and have a Switch control another Switch and have the screen on the Switch that is the controller function as the Wii U gamepad screen. This is way out there, but Ben, I think you're onto something cool.
Galaxy brain, baby.
And Andrew, I definitely think that like that's totally something that would happen. Is like, all right, you've been using the TV for an hour, let your brother play on the TV and you get to just play on your Switch
and then
screen.
you're both off.
Yeah, and then you're both off and Dad gets to sit down and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, now Dad's turn.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that a Switch Mini or a Switch Pro are both cool. I'm more partial to the Switch Mini. Honestly, if there is a Switch Mini, I'll probably buy it. I hate myself for that too.
You'll buy both. Don't kid yourself.
Maybe. And I mean, okay, maybe. So in other news, Game Informer has reported that Media Molecule is addressing one of the most prevalent complaints in their game creation engine, Dreams. So since launch, motion controls have been pretty unpopular. People aren't loving it, and they're wanting
Can't even do it anymore.
Yeah, Ben, that was your biggest complaint about Dreams.
Yeah, I abandoned it because I don't have. It sounds like the
Move controllers.
from the Move controllers are way better, but yeah, like I don't have Move controllers, and it just was like just
Became a
too
little too
frustrating
hard,
to
yeah.
me, and like it to the point where it just like felt like I kept seeing the things that Nathan would make, and I would be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I can't even like get anything like where I want it. Like,
I can't even make a circle.
Yeah, it was just like one of those things where I was just like, I'm just gonna put this away until they figure out a better way to control this.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bailed on the whole game, because that says something about the motion controls, that's for sure. Andrew, have you gotten a chance to try out Dreams yet?
No, not yet.
I'm just not interested in creating, and so I'm kind of waiting.
I guess I haven't explored the creations that I could, the playable creations very much, and so maybe I should give it a chance and go back on and play
on that side of it.
Yeah, because
apparently
I'm sure
you could really make something.
like those are actually apparently the controller is best for playing creations. So
yeah, well,
that might be not a bad idea.
Yeah. So Media Molecule has said that non-motion controls are something they're definitely looking into in the interest of accessibility. And they even said that mouse and keyboard support is kind of a possibility for the distant future. Like they're definitely, it's on their radar.
Could be oh no, the PlayStation doesn't have Bluetooth, does it?
No, it does.
Oh, so potentially could my current mouse and keyboard potentially hook up to the PlayStation and work for it?
I don't know, because they were super particular about what Bluetooth stuff could work on the PS3. So I'd imagine they would be very particular about the PS4. But I don't know. But I think
if they made it so that mouse and keyboard worked, I would definitely see myself getting back into creation.
Yeah, I think mouse and keyboard is where this game absolutely has to go.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean I've said it on the podcast multiple times before, but not only mouse and keyboard, but Mac and PC. This has to be a computer program, not just a game.
Yeah, because then people would really be able to make games on it that
are,
I think
really
that are real games, yeah,
and complex. Yeah. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited that they acknowledged their mistakes and they're moving forward with that. How do you guys think that non-motion controls would affect the player base moving forward? Because Nathan seems crazy into it.
Yeah, Nathan said it's the only game he plays now.
But then on the flip side, Ben, you bailed because of the motion controls.
But he wasn't using the motion controls.
Oh, because he's using Move controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So do you guys think that a non-motion control option would increase the player base significantly in any meaningful way?
I really have no way to know, honestly.
Yeah.
Dreams is kind of an enigma. There hasn't ever been anything like it, so we're kind of in uncharted water at this point. But speaking of uncharted water, Ben, you shared something with us about Dreams this week. The Minecraft thing. You want to talk about that real quick?
Oh yeah, somebody created playable. It's not like actual Minecraft, but it is a playable area that looks like Minecraft with a character that looks like the character from Minecraft.
Steve.
Yeah, so it essentially you can go into the world and move around as Steve, but not do anything.
Oh, okay. So there's not the crafting in the building. No.
So essentially, somebody just recreated copyrighted material.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
But I would be really interested to see what they keep doing, because imagine because Dreams seems to kind of have unlimited potential, and the real.
But we didn't mention this last week, that they do say that they will take down. Remember, Nathan posted to us later that they will take down copyrighted material, and that you can't post copyrighted material. Yeah. And stuff like that. We did not realize that last week when we were recording.
That's true, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because we should issue a correction. They have acknowledged it, and they do have an official stance on it, and they are against it. So good for them.
Totally.
But I think the real challenge of recreating Minecraft in something like Dreams would be the redstone and like making the redstone work. Because like through redstone combinations, people can literally program things. And so people have written like software in redstone and created like a cell phone in Minecraft that can actually make phone calls over the internet and call real phones.
But if Dreams comes to
yeah.
PC and Mac, don't you think you could actually do that?
I'm sure that eventually, like, you could, yeah. The potential of Dreams seems almost unlimited, which is both amazing and terrifying all at the same time.
Well, yeah, like that's Nathan sent us that Bowsette picture.
Oh, God. Bowsette. What a mess.
So hot. So hot.
That's where the internet just took over.
Bowsette, so hot right now. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to keep checking in on Dreams, and we'll probably keep mentioning it on this podcast. Probably not on a weekly basis, but it's a lot. We're going to be watching Dreams pretty closely. But there were some more leaks that I think we're going to find more interesting. But Ben, why don't you take the reins on this one?
So we've got some leaks on GTA 6 from
more leaks
on GTA 6 from Dexerto. Oh no,
Gamebyte.
Pastebin. Well, Pastebin. Well, Gamebyte's the website that we found the article on.
Right.
But it was a leaker. The leaker is Pastebin. And Pastebin states that GTA 6 is going to feature multiple big cities which players can travel across. In the title, which will make you a kind of drug lord, you will start as a small-time guy in Liberty City doing odd chores and small-time thefts, eventually work your way to Vice City, where you will join a famous gang. You will be tasked to look after business in Liberty City until you are brought back to Vice City and soon become the drug lord. Rockstar Games has an idea about when they want to release the game, but the corporates want to analyze the sales of PS5 and the Xbox 2. This game can't come for PS4 because of memory restrictions. We have two major cities along with a vast stretch of highways and Blaine County-like countrysides in the middle of it all. There will also be some kind of timed era between the missions with flashbacks. Certain shops will sell different types of items in different eras. Red Dead Redemption 2 type stranger dialogues will be implemented, and there are a lot of big plans in online and with major content like newer towns. They are working closely with Microsoft and Sony on cloud gaming, which will help them enable online to be a continuous process. So, and this is also not the first time we've heard from Pastebin, because Pastebin was the one who pointed out the PlayStation 5 developer who claimed to have worked on GTA 6 as well as GTA 5.
Yeah, so multiple leaks on GTA 6, and there was some language in there that you read, Ben, that makes me think that this game is coming sooner than we think. So, because they said Rockstar has an idea of when they want it to come out, but the corporate entities want to get an idea of sales on PS5 and whatever the next Xbox is first. And so that leads me to think that maybe the game would be ready before the corporate people could get an idea of a really firm idea of sales. And so maybe this game could be ready in the first couple of years of the next generation.
Oh, I think so.
Like, I think that they might hit us with it, like, maybe even, and this is a long shot, but maybe even as early as E3. Because
I mean, maybe like a teaser, like they did with the very first teaser that we got from GTA 5.
yeah, wasn't
That
that
came like 2 years before or something,
exactly
where it just showed like the Vinewood sign, basically.
and like the people hiking up the mountain. That was actually a funny thing. I was at my girlfriend's apartment at the time, and I was just like thinking to myself, because I wasn't real into video games at the time, and I just thought to myself, man, it's been a long time since GTA 4. I wonder like where they're at on GTA 5. I wonder if there are any new rumors on that. And I Googled it, and that trailer had been dropped like 2 hours before. And I was like, oh shit, that's just a total coincidence that I would be thinking about GTA 5 today. But yeah, maybe something along those lines of just a tease and a reveal of like, this is coming. And then maybe 2 or even 2.5 years lead up to the game actually coming out. And then it's out and it's awesome.
Yeah, I could see that, but they also didn't tease Red Dead Redemption very much at all. But I think that's because just people assumed that it was coming. But I guess people assume that Grand Theft Auto
GTA
6 is coming.
Yeah, and I mean there is that balance of like announcing a game too early or announcing a game too late, because Fallout, like Bethesda said with Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, like, yep, it exists and you're going to play it in 6 months. And both of those games happened, and I mean, you can have whatever opinion you want on those games. But then like there is also the Uncharted 4 was revealed the night before the release of the PS4, and that game didn't come out until like May of 2016.
Well, I feel like with Grand Theft Auto 5, when the reveal happened, they didn't give any details about when the game was going to come out. They just basically, it was like you were saying, like just like, yep, it's coming.
Yeah, a lot like what Bethesda did
like
with
there
Elder Scrolls
suddenly.
6. Yeah, exactly. So maybe we could get something as soon as E3. I don't expect that. I would expect something more like probably not E3 next year, because Rockstar really doesn't participate in E3, but also it would be very funny. It would be a very Rockstar thing to do, to not be at E3 and still be the biggest story of E3 with like a fuck you, here's a teaser. You can go watch it on Vimeo, and it's going to be the most viewed video the entire week.
Yeah.
But
well, that's because I remember I saw the video originally for the teaser for GTA 5 on a hip hop blog.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Rockstar can put shit anywhere they want, and people are going to go there. Like
They're going to find it. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, especially Grand Theft Auto, because Grand Theft Auto, like, and now especially with as popular as Red Dead was, because like I feel like Red Dead was always like the less popular little brother of Grand Theft Auto once it became like officially like a full-on Rockstar title, and now I can only imagine what GTA 6 is going to.
yeah,
Bring. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's going to be insane. And that's when you think about how much money Grand Theft Auto 5 made. I'm sure that they just brought in developers right away and were like, yeah, we've got all this fucking cash.
here
Let's
you go.
just start making a new one
Yeah.
now.
I'm sure that there's
Why
been a team on
wouldn't
Grand
we?
Theft Auto 6 for years, and then like totally separately, the team working on Grand Theft Auto 5 or Grand Theft Auto Online.
Exactly.
And like you're right, Ben, that the Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, I think Grand Theft Auto 5 really like shot them. Rockstar used to be a top tier developer, and then Grand Theft Auto 5 just put them into the stratosphere. Like these guys they have fuck you money amongst fuck you money people. And like it just shot them into the stratosphere. And then with Red Dead Redemption 2, they capitalized on that like level of success and pushed it even further. And then I think with what it sounds like, with what you just read us about Grand Theft Auto 6, it sounds like they're taking it even to the next level. Whereas I think Red Dead Redemption 2 was very much in the same realm as Grand Theft Auto 5, just well beyond it as far as like performance and capability. It sounds like Grand Theft Auto 6 is just headed up to the next level entirely.
I can't wait to just drive between fucking Liberty City and Vice.
Yeah.
And that, or else just fly between to get there quicker. But
yeah,
get a really fucking fast car and just do like fucking 120 down a fucking interstate.
Well, so another really interesting thing is the like taking place across 2 different time zones.
That would be really cool.
And so
different cars, different guns, different.
Yeah, and so I mean, I like there are some Grand Theft Auto games I haven't played. I haven't played all of them. But
or if you could like stash a car in a garage and then go forward in time, and then it just becomes way more valuable because it's fucking like a classic at that point.
Car. Oh man.
But Andrew, did you play Chinatown Wars?
No.
Ah, damn. Ben, did you?
No.
Only Eric Cartman.
Wait, did Eric Cartman play Chinatown Wars?
Yeah, remember he wants to. No, he wanted to freeze himself for the Nintendo Wii, but then he made his mom take him to the store the day it came out for Chinatown Wars. And he always says, Grand Theft Auto, Chinatown Wars on the Nintendo DS. But, yeah, I think that the time frame thing is another, like 2 cities and the time frame thing is really how they're going to push themselves into that next level and do something that they've never done before.
Well, yeah, and that's like the last game having 3 characters. I think that this time having 2 different time frames.
Yeah,
because like that's like, especially with Vice City, that's something that they've done before. Where like Vice City came out, and that game is like, but then Vice City Stories came out, and Vice City Stories is like is a prequel to Vice City.
Yeah, and
so you get so you see like some of the same characters, but then there's some different cars and stuff like that too.
Yeah, and Liberty City Stories did something similar as well with Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, but
not as well.
Neither of those games. Well, and I think that's because of the limitations of the hardware that.
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto 3 was developed on.
But like if you take a look at the forums for the really hardcore GTA fans, I mean Vice City Stories is always amongst the top of like these are the best ones.
Oh, story-wise, that is one of my favorites. I mean, it's hard. Yeah, I would definitely. It's up there. It's a really cool story.
Yeah.
CJ.
Andrew, being such a PlayStation fanboy, you must have played Vice City Stories on PSP.
I didn't, actually.
What?
Back in the PSP days. No, I'm surprised I didn't, actually, but I didn't, sadly.
Such a fantastic game. So, speaking of, open world Grand Theft Auto, well, Saints Row ripped it off for a while, and now... Unfortunately, IGN reported earlier today that the Fate of the Furious director, F. Gary Gray, that name threw me through a loop, is set to adapt the video game series Saints Row into a movie. Greg Russo is attached to write the movie. He's also currently working on writing the new Mortal Kombat movie and the Resident Evil reboot. I'm sure I could think of a worse game to adapt into a movie, but I would be hard pressed. Like, how do you guys think this is going to go over?
Nathan sounded oddly optimistic. I think it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, I feel like any video game to movie switch is usually pretty awful.
They're pretty rough. Ben, I think it's funny you say oddly optimistic because that's exactly what it was. But like, because the best Saints Row game is Saints Row the Third. And I just don't get it how there's like, they are
the first game was just a like straight ripoff of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And then they progressively realized that they would probably get sued if they continued to do that, and so they just started becoming more and more fucking absurd.
Yeah, they just got wackier and wackier to the point that in the third one, which the third one is the pinnacle, but they acknowledged that the story is so meaningless that there is a dialogue option called zombie where your character just talks in zombie grunts because their dialogue is so meaningless.
Yeah.
And like that's some funny shit, but like
At the same time, like it's like you're making me pay $60 for this.
So Grand Theft or Saints Row the Third was actually a really good game, but it wasn't good because of the story. It was good because it was very funny and it was very fun. And so those two things, like we discussed on No Refunds next week, those two things don't translate into a movie well. Like a movie can't lean on gameplay to save it.
Not at all. Not at all.
So, which it's a kind of a shame, but I don't know. I would be hard pressed to find a series that would be worse. Maybe Nintendogs, but even then, like at least it's cool looking dogs.
Nintendogs, I'd play Nintendogs.
Yeah, there was when Jillian and I first started dating. We were like 6 or 9 months into our relationship, and she just like we're going to bed one night, and we're about to fall asleep, and she just goes, and I was like, "What?" And she goes, "My Nintendogs. I hope they're still alive." And, like the next day, she like gets out her DS and like plugs in her Nintendogs, and she's like, "Oh, they're okay."
Nice.
You're like, but they missed you.
Yeah. Yeah. But speaking of bad movies or bad movies that are a result of video games, that takes us to the topic of the show.
The topic of the show.
Topic
of the show.
That's
show.
There's a
like-
show, and usually there's a topic.
It's like interpretive dance, but singing, and also interesting. So topic of the show this week, we finally got the first trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ugh,
Oh, God,
dear Lord.
It looks so bad.
it looks so fucking terrible.
Okay.
Like my first fucking reaction was like, who is that voice? And then I looked up and
It's
I was
Sean
like,
Ralphio.
oh. I know, and I was just so disappointed because I was like, they're not even like, it just sounds like they're just like they cut his balls off and like are just making him be like not fun at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks so bad. Like Jim Carrey looks redeeming, especially that last shot from the very end of the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look kind of funny. Like, I bet he'll fall into that role. He's a weirdo.
He looks like he's really going to save, like, if anything is going to save this movie, it looks like it's going to be Jim Carrey.
Yeah, but the Sonic model is just so bad. Like,
It's
I don't.
terrible.
Where did they come up with that?
Well,
Yeah, I see a lot of these posts of like people just
Changing it.
redoing him slightly
and
it's
fixing
like
it.
just like a few small changes, like skinnier legs and like a slightly different looking body
And the eyes.
and different eyes, and like all of a sudden he looks totally like
He looks
1,000 times better.
Almost perfect. Like,
And
some
it's like you
very
made,
minor
like,
changes.
He looks like a child running around in like a blue fursuit.
That's
But then
exactly.
they even make that joke about like, is that a child in that bag?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. Well, yeah, it's a
But
child,
it's not
but
my
it's not
kid.
my child. And he's like, you have somebody else's child in the bag, and it's like that's a kind of a funny joke, but it's a fucking creepy hedgehog.
Yeah,
It's
he
in the
looks
bag.
fucking terrifying.
Well, do you guys think that they're going to pull a Sonic 06 and have him have a human love interest?
Oh, God,
dear.
terrifying.
So, okay, just going to play devil's advocate here. I hate Sonic the Hedgehog. I can't stand those games. I have always wanted to like them.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't stand them. And so as a person that is not a fan of Sonic,
using a fucking rings as teleporters? What?
yeah, that doesn't make sense. And where the fuck are the Chaos Emeralds? And is he going to turn
a lot
into...
of like random
can we just
mechanics
stop
that don't
the
make
video
sense.
game movies?
I'm with you on that, Ben. Let's just stop them. Because Uncharted is going to be terrible. Last of Us, why would you ruin that game?
The game is
Literally
already
just
a good
talked
enough
about
movie.
how fucking Tomb Raider was, the reboot was not that good, except for these. The problem is that I guarantee you that people in not America are gonna go fucking see Sonic, and they're gonna be like, "Yep, let's make a second."
That's true. Let's make a second. Got to satisfy that Chinese market.
Oh god,
It's gonna happen, dude. It's going to happen, and it's sad, and it's gonna make us all want to kill ourselves.
I feel like you're taking it pretty far if you want to kill yourself over the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, but okay.
just like I don't want to live
I'm
on this
gonna
planet
wanna-
anymore.
It's gonna make me want to kill myself when I realize how much money people in fucking Hollywood are making over it.
That's true, actually. I mean, when this movie comes out and like a month later we find out that it grossed, say, like $600 million worldwide, I'm going to be really upset about that.
Because it's going to be a bad movie.
It's going to be a bad movie. And on top of that, people are going to go see it. Like, it's even going to succeed in the domestic market because people are going to see it because it's so bad.
It's going to end up on Netflix like a week after it comes out.
Yeah. I mean, like, after its theater run, it's going to be on Netflix within a month.
No, it's not going to be that fast.
And that's when I'm going to watch it, is when it's on Netflix or HBO within 6 months.
Yeah, when I have a chance to get really drunk first. Like,
it just looks like, and I just can't believe that, like, the actors who are in it. It's
Jim Carrey.
But that's the thing, is like that Jim Carrey actually, like, when he shows up, I was kind of like, damn, all right. And then it just goes back to fucking the creepy fucking Sonic. And that's
James Marsden.
James Marsden is great. And he looks
Neil McDonough.
like, it's just like, why fucking, why could they have not made the model of fucking Sonic better?
Yeah, and on top of that, like, it's
like,
they say, oh well, there's the part where Sonic says, like,
John Wick just comes in and kills fucking Sonic too.
Suddenly it's John Wick 4. But
no,
or how it actually
that's going to be
ends,
part of
Pikachu
John Wick
from
3.
Detective Pikachu just shows up and goes, I need to talk to you about the Smash Bros. Initiative. And you're like, God damn it, they're going to make a Smash Bros. Movie. Fuck.
Or at least maybe Deadpool 3 will fucking kill Sonic.
That would be really cool. So there was the part where Sonic says, like, I'm here to save your planet. But
he sounds like a little pussy bitch.
He does. But, like, at the beginning of the movie, you see a sign that says, Welcome to Green Hill. And it's like, okay, so Green Hill Zone, where Sonic lives, is actually on Earth. And Sonic is clearly not from Earth. So Sonic lives on a foreign planet. It just doesn't make any sense. They're, like, I don't know.
He's an alien, basically.
Yeah. They very clearly just didn't get anyone that cared about Sonic to work on this movie.
Yeah, they probably were like, has anyone here ever played, like, know anything about Sonic or played it? And someone's like, I've seen a poster of it before.
Well, I think worse than
Tim just said that Jeff Fowler actually just tweeted that they're going to change the model.
What the fuck? Breaking news.
I did see something about that earlier today, actually. I wasn't sure if that was a shit post or not.
Hold on.
Breaking news.
Yeah, Jeff Fowler said, thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this the best character, or to making this character the best he can be. Sonic movie. Gotta fix fast.
Well, okay, so there you go.
That could be better.
They took your criticism in real time, Ben.
Wow.
Like the movie itself could be just like a ridiculous story, but yeah, I think the big part of it is that Sonic looks like a terrifying child.
He looks so bad. And I think that that's a huge thing, that like they released a trailer and now they got so much feedback that they're saying we have to change it.
Yeah, the internet was just like, no, this is awful.
I mean, the internet finally did something good, because it's all about the internet has just been taking a big old shit all over our lives for the last several years. They finally did something good.
For real.
That's actually awesome. Insane. Thank you, Tim. Shout out to Tim. Go check him out on Twitch over at Rack and I. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. Okay. So, one, do you guys think that the Chaos Emeralds are going to show up in this movie?
I mean, it would make sense. You'd think they would, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
If they already have teleportation rings.
Yeah, it just seems stupid. Stupid. Okay, and then I was going to ask you, because like, remember when the Detective Pikachu movie trailer, the first trailer was released, and people weren't real thrilled with the character models for the Pokemon?
No, it was mostly the texturing on Jigglypuff.
Texture on Jigglypuff. And
that was the main one that I heard people criticize, was the texturing on Jigglypuff, because everybody was just like,
Jigglypuff with fur.
Yeah.
But people, like, as in the lead up to this movie, people have really warmed up to like all of these character models. And so I was going to ask.
I've heard that it's incredible on podcasts of people who have seen it already. And it was someone who was like not a Pokemon fan, and they were like, well, I was honestly confused about what was going on when a lot of people were cheering in the theater a lot of time, but they were cheering just specifically because of like a specific Pokemon.
Just because their favorite Pokemon is on screen.
Yeah, and like, but he was like, it was honestly a very fun movie. So I'm looking forward to Pokemon Detective Pikachu a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm so psyched about Detective Pikachu. And I was going to ask you guys, do you think that people maybe will eventually warm to this model of Sonic the same way that they've warmed to a lot of the models of the Pokemon in Detective Pikachu?
Sounds like we don't have to.
We don't have to, because fuck this model of Sonic, he's gone.
Yeah, we don't have to deal with our nightmares.
So, all right. I mean, are we still like, we're all going to watch this when it comes out on Netflix or HBO, right? We're not going to.
I mean, if they redo the model and then drop a new trailer,
and it's hot,
the model makes me feel like the movie looks better, I'll be like, all right, I could see this in theaters, maybe.
All right. Yeah, I mean, so it looks like they just really didn't get anyone that really, and of course this is like what I'm about to say is contradicted by this tweet that just happened, but it looks like they got someone that really doesn't give a shit about, they didn't get anyone that gives a shit about Sonic to work on this movie. And that's what happened with Sonic 06, and that's what happened with like Sonic Forces. But then you look at like Sonic Mania, and that was made by a modder who was obsessed with Sonic, and like they made a small team and they made what people consider the best Sonic game in years. And so I'm not a fan of Sonic because I don't like the gameplay, but clearly there are a lot of people out there who do. And if you just get people who care about the IP, just like anything else, you're gonna come up with something good.
Yeah.
And so hopefully the new model is good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we got that breaking news. Thank you, Tim. Shout out again.
I'm sure a lot of those, like the remakes
and me
that people
for
have made
reading
are
Discord.
what they saw.
And Ben for reading Discord. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll keep our ears to the ground. We'll recommence we'll come back to our Sonic movie conversation at a later date when we have a look at the new model and get an idea of what's going on. But that wraps up the topic of the show, which means it's time for the weekly trivia challenge.
Trivia!
So this week's trivia challenge, released in 1993, which home console was the last to be released by Atari? Was it A, the Atari Lynx, B, the Atari 5200, C, the Atari Jaguar, or D, Atari 64?
I'm going to say the Atari Jaguar.
Ben?
You said 93?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say Atari Jaguar.
Go on that too, because that was my initial guess.
So you're
before
both final answer Atari Jaguar?
Yeah.
Andrew?
Yep.
You are both correct. It was the Atari Jaguar.
Woo! I had one.
The Atari Lynx was a handheld console. The Atari 5200 was the flop that followed up the Atari 2600. And the Atari 64 never existed.
I didn't think that the Atari 64 ever existed, and I figured it would have probably come out in like 98 if it had.
Yeah, as a Me Too for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to be 64-bit graphics.
Well,
yeah.
Andrew, I'm impressed with your performance in trivia because you haven't been on the podcast a whole lot, but you're still in second place. Ben, you're in first place with 5 points. Andrew, second place with 3 points. Tim is in third place with 2 points. And Nathan's dumbass only has 1 point, but we should take it away while he's not even on the show.
Just give it to me.
Yeah, we'll give it to Andrew, and it'll be more of a competition between Andrew and Ben.
Default
All right.
point.
That's all we've got for you guys tonight. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe on whatever platform you found us on. Don't forget to check out our movies podcast, No Refunds, the podcast that watches bad movies so you don't have to. Next week, we will be discussing Tomb Raider from 2018, so make sure to tune in for that.
Avengers also.
And we'll have a special episode on the Avengers. Now you can find everything we do all in one spot over at coldnorthpro.com. But before we go, anything you guys want to plug? Ben, anything you want to plug? Your Twitch or anything?
Yeah, Ren Bennels on Twitch, Ren Bennels on Twitter. No, wait, I'm BenRen75 on Twitter.
You got to change that.
Yeah, fuck. What the fuck? What was I thinking?
All right.
What
Andrew, anything you want to plug?
Can't say there is.
All right. And you can catch my video essays on YouTube at Cold North Productions. Also, you can find me on Twitch at The Lawnmowers. Until next time, reset.
Resquirt.
Reset. Womp, 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 womp. I don't know what to make for dinner.
I wonder if I can change it or if I have to fucking... No, I can't.
No, you have to be able to change it.
No, I'd have to be a new app.
You can't change
Your handle.
That's fucking stupid.
Oh, that's annoying.